Get to the union buildings and Mcebo Dlamini is addressing the media.
Probably, and the awareness, because more than anything, it was about the awareness, and also calling for a public sympathy from the public, also to put pressure on government, as we have already embarked on this drastic decision. But we are here now, and the message has been made loud and clear, in as much as we can't go and walk anymore. But the spirit is still very much high. And we can still walk back, but we won't walk back. Look, more than anything, we are speaking to the consciousness of the leadership. We are questioning and saying to them, all of them who are in power today, they are activists and they are members of the liberation movement. They took part in the liberation movement. We are questioning those credentials of the liberation, or else they were in the MK as askaris and selling out, because today young people are engaged on a mission that is not yet ours. As young people, we haven't started fighting our own battles. We are fighting the old battles of our parents, those that we have came here to submit a memorandum. The memorandum is speaking to the consciousness and the revolutionary in them, if there is. This is a test, and they will be tested in front of the public, because in as much as there was destruction of property, to which we are not ignorant of, but we are saying it happened under a political cloud. The conditions on the ground were those of political influence. It isn't any just criminality that students woke up and vandalized. So, because if it was, why are they not vandalizing now? So they vandalized. The motive behind the vandalization, that's what we must be talking about. It was politically motivated, and a revolution, there is no revolution that is purely peaceful. A violence is part of a revolution, but we are not condoning those acts of violence. We are now saying to government, use political means to solve political problems. You can't use a criminal justice to deal with political problems, because if you do that, you remind us of apartheid. You told us that apartheid was cruel, but the way you told us how cruel apartheid was, it seems like the victims are now becoming the killers, and we can't allow our parents to eat their own like pigs. That's why we are speaking to the consciousness of the president and of the liberation movement, the African National Congress, to which we are members of in good standing. And it is a call to young people that when you criticize and attack the ANC, it means you love it. The day you stop criticizing it, it means you hate it. And we love the movement. That's why we are here, coming here to eat, having not resorted to anything else. Even when they have brutalized us and suppressed us, we still say the ANC is home. Can they also see us as their children and do the right thing? We are here to call for the right thing and nothing else.
You're not the first to make the call. There have been other students who've made the call. So are you hopeful that perhaps after walking as many kilometers as you have, that perhaps you will get a positive response?
Well, to be honest with you, we need every pressure that will come. We don't care how many people are singing, as long as we are singing the same tune. That's what matters. Because if we are going to say you want to sing alone, we are going to have problems. The revolution is not for one person. The revolution is for all young people in South Africa, mostly the black masses of our people who are subjected to poverty. So that's why we are here, and it mustn't end today. We expect others from Cape Town to walk to Parliament. We have to put pressure up until our demands are heard. This is not a honeymoon or a romantic event that we would have taken a bus or a how train to come here. It is a revolution, and a revolution is pain, and we are enduring the pain. The same pain that our people who are already in jail like Kanya, who's serving 8 years already. You can imagine the pain and the careers that I had to end with the continuation of the prosecution and the persecution.
Are you giving the president with your memorandum, and what's the next plan if it doesn't go your way?
Well, you can't put a time frame when you are pleading. We are here to plead. We are not coming here with arrogance and ignorance. We are pleading, we are speaking to consciousness. So ours is to hope that it will reach his heart. We can't come here to put time frames as if we are apartheid oppressing our people. We are speaking to consciousness. We come here consciously, and we are speaking to consciousness of the president. And the pressure that will come from the public probably is that will make him react so quickly. But we hope, because this is an urgent matter, we hope that he will react with agency as well.
You speak of the pressure. Are there plans to organize more sort of demonstrations like this in other areas?
You see, a revolution is not planned. The conditions on the ground determine the next action. Yes. Because you can't come here and say, what are you going to do tomorrow? As if this is a Catholic church that you know which Wednesday and which verse will be read everywhere. So, yeah. So yeah, it is a revolution. So the conditions on the ground will determine, and we hope that we have arisen the consciousness of young people everywhere. So young people will decide what the next step is. And when you see here, there is too much leadership of young people which is already here. And I hope that they will go back to their relevant branches and their political movements, and also speak to the issue of national importance. So we don't know what will be the next move. Probably the president will respond immediately when he comes back from the overseas trip. We don't know. But we are also speaking to the parents at home who are in cabinet, those who were once student leaders. We are also challenging them to say, you were once student leaders, and mostly those who are mothers, to say, because you were once a mother and you carried a child. How do you feel when such things are happening?
And you just mentioned that you're seeing a lot of leaders there. Do you feel you have enough support, especially from students, that obviously benefited from you?
Well, it depends. It depends on you, on how you want to define support. Because if you want to define support as numbers, you are going to have problems. Support comes in many forms. Support comes in prayers. Support comes in encouragement. Support comes in many forms. Yes, we have support, and we are very much happy with the support.
Please give us some of the points in your memorandum.
Well, there's quite a lot of things that we are speaking about in the letter to the president. Mostly we are speaking about, like I said, that we are speaking on the consciousness, and that we are also reminding the president, and we are also reminding the president of the main objectives of the formation of the African National Congress from its inception, why the ANC was formed. We gave him the pillars of why the ANC was formed. One of them was that of the realization of free education. We are saying, as young people, we were fulfilling those objectives that they sold to our parents, that they picked up arms and went to exile. So now we are saying to them, you can't then, when we pursue what you have taught us to pursue, then you criminalize us. We also speak on the issues that he has powers as president, that he derives from the Constitution, that his prerogative powers to grant amnesty and pardon young people. So most of the things we are alluding, and to also say that when you incriminate these people, sending them to long-term prison, you are not assisting us in terms of closing the gap of inequality between white and black, because the people who took part in the protest are mainly black people and poor. So you are perpetuating poverty, and that our people won't get out of that thing. So it is those things. But we also have another annexure where we then say to the president, just because we have captured our attention, let us also bring other issues to your attention, probably that you don't know. We remind him of Univen. We remind him of Teflop. We remind him of Fort Hare, Ngoye and Mangosuthu. We say those are former Bantustan University. They also remain an insult to a black child. When you look at Univen today, that doesn't even have toilets, that doesn't even have pavers, that doesn't even have Wi-Fi. That is a shame and an insult to black people 24 years and above, to democracy. That's the issues that we are saying. The infrastructure to those universities, the status of those universities, to say that our people have to travel from Louis Trichardt there and Vembe to come and be hobos here in Pretoria University and vets because they are chasing better education. If government had improved those universities and Teflop, where they all come from, because none of these leaders went to vets, they are products of those universities that they are neglecting. We are reminding them of those issues, talking of infrastructure in those issues, and also granting those universities the status of research like the white universities, because you can't expect Univen and Fort Hare to compete with Stellenbosch and UCT having a status of teaching and learning only. When these institutions have research, if they have a status of research, it means they are able to generate their own money. They can sustain themselves. Those are the things that we are questioning to the leadership today. And we also point on the issue of NSFAS itself, to say that it can't happen that black young people have to be subjected to inhumane activities like running around the country looking for death certificates and looking for DNA tests as to who your father is, so that you can, because who cares who your father is? You might find that your mother doesn't even know who your father is. You find that some of us, we are being raised by grandmothers, and your mother and father is those that raised you. But the requirements of NSFAS are ridiculing black people to an extent that each and every year you have to run around looking for a mucus of TB, that your parents have TB so they can't pay for you. Those are the things, and you do those things each and every year. Those are the things that we are raising to the president, when to say that you can't. So we are saying that if we want to restore the dignity of a black child, those are the things that we must deal with. Now, we are also saying we can't have the universities enjoying what they call academic freedom or the autonomy. That's what they call it, so that they oppress us and have rules where government can't even interfere. We say to the president, does he even know the curriculum that is being taught? And what is the future plans of the country through the curriculum? Because with the curriculum, you project the type of society you want to create. If you want to create white people in black bodies, that's what the curriculum is doing. A curriculum that is colonizing us yet again. So government must be able to determine the curriculum. A Chinese curriculum speak to the aspiration of China and where China wants to see itself. The curriculum in South Africa must speak to the aspirations of our 20 years. Where do we want to be? We say to the president, look at the very same curriculum that doesn't teach agriculture. VETS doesn't teach agriculture. UCT doesn't teach agriculture. UJ doesn't teach agriculture. Now, how are you going to make farming fashionable if those institutions are not teaching agriculture? You are teaching our people accounting. Whose money are they going to count? They are going to be counting the money of the farmers, because money is on the ground. Teach our people agriculture. Make agriculture fashionable. That's the importance of the curriculum. It is in here. Those are the issues that we are raising, sensitive as they are. But certain things must be raised, and the time to raise them is now.
Yes. Thank you very much.
How's your feet feeling?
Well, I'm very much tired. The feet are refusing, but we pushed ourselves. the conviction, the determination, and the support we have been receiving all the way. We couldn't then disappoint the young people who are all over the country who have been supporting us. And also, we couldn't give up on ourselves as young people. So that's what pushed me. I hope when I get back to my place, I will collapse, but we would have fulfilled the mission. Thank you. Where's the phone?
Well, that was Mcebo Dlamini. They're just addressing the media on the convictions that he had that caused him to walk from Johannesburg to the Union Buildings in Pretoria to plead the case of the plight of the hashtag Fees Must Fall activists, some of whom are still imprisoned, some of whom, such as himself, are out on bail but still face charges of various misconducts, and if convicted, would actually see their careers come to an end before they've even kicked off. Mentioning some of the contents of the letter he handed over to the presidency, he said that the main thing was consciousness of the leadership, questioning their consciousness, questioning those that actually led the struggle. He mentions that they wanted to remind the ANC why it was formed. One of the reasons why it was formed was to bring about free education, free decolonized education to all South Africans. We can see the memorandum there being received by members of the presidency just in front of the Union Buildings there, as Mcebo hugs those members of the presidency who are representing the president's office there. He also mentioned that some of the leaders of our country are not taking care of tertiary institutions that they themselves went to. Let's go back and hear what he's saying to those receiving the memorandum.
Having informed the office of the president at the 11th hour. So we really appreciate because the president didn't have an obligation to send people to come here. But the fact that he did send people, it shows to us as young people that we are listened at and we have a president that is listening. And we hope that he will give himself time to read the issues which are here, which mostly are speaking to the future of our education system. They are long-term goals on the document that we prepared, and there are also solutions. In as much as it is a letter, then the letter leads to an annexure where we point other issues, like the issue of the Bandustan universities, Univen, Teflop, and Fort Hare, which we must be embarrassed as a black government when we look at Teflop, when we look at Univen, to which most of our leaders come from. Even worse with Teflop, because Teflop by now should be one of the best universities in the world, with the cream of leaders it has produced across Africa. But today, Teflop, it's a shame we can't even point it to say our heroes come there. So we are saying as young people, we want government to prioritize the issues of the former Bantu universities. And we want to say to the president also, once he has granted amnesty and pardon to our leaders, we hope and we plead with him to revive the agricultural colleges which were once in existence, because we are in a situation where we are talking land now. We want to make farming fashionable. How are you going to make farming fashionable when the big universities are not teaching agriculture? Universities like Wits University, UJ, UCT, they don't teach agriculture and UP. But we want to make farming fashionable. So we want those things to, agriculture must be in the curriculum, even in high school, even in the Model C schools, because we want to prepare a complete takeover as young people. So we must make farming fashionable. So that's what we are calling. And we are also saying to the president, can he revive the nursing colleges, those which were once in existence? We need those nursing colleges. There is a shortage of nurses in all the big government hospitals. And we are also saying those teachers' colleges, they must also come back. There is time young people are loitering on the streets, because in as much as they pass, they don't make it to those universities because the space is small. Those are some of the issues. And also to thank him for dealing with the issues of NSFAS, because there was a problem there. for disbanding the whole committee. We are grateful of that. And the resignation of Ngasana as young people, we accept it. We are happy with his resignation. He should have resigned a long time. We are not apologetic, and we want to say to the Minister of Education, we support him and we challenge him to intervene in these institutions and deal with the autonomy of universities. Universities in South Africa, we can't say UCT is an African university when it is not teaching African studies and teaching African solutions. These are European universities in Africa. So when you begin to deal with those issues, you are told of the autonomy of the university. So the minister must interrupt those things called autonomy, and it's long overdue, because the curriculum that is being taught in these universities determine the future of this country. Who's teaching? What is being taught? And how it is being taught? It's very important. We call for the increase of black academics. There is a problem in these top 5 universities in terms of publishing. They don't give black academics an opportunity to publish. All the black academics have to go to useless universities in Turkey to publish there, because UCT, VETS, Stellenbosch don't give the black academics an opportunity to publish. So those are the things that are being tabled in the letter, and we apologize if we come as if we are arrogant, and those working the conditions on the ground says we had to put our morals away to get the attention of leadership. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
This will definitely be brought to the attention of the President. You can be assured of that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for receiving us.
Well, the memorandum of grievances has been handed over to representatives of the presidency, with Mcebo Dlamini there just thanking the president for availing representatives from his office to come and receive that letter, and mentioning that he's grateful that the president is giving attention to the NSFAS issues, which have actually aggrieved students for quite some time, and mentioning that they welcome the resignation of Ngasana. Pictures there, still outside the union buildings. Looks like Mcebo's having a bite to eat, a snack, and he seems to be limping, understandably so, after having walked from Johannesburg to Pretoria. He says that he's in good spirits and would walk back, but he says he thinks it's better to just take a seat and be driven home this evening.